Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Wednesday the 17th of February 2021. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm going to use the Gay Tarot for today's reading, a tool of awareness and introspection for those who aren't afraid of diversity. Okay, so let's have a look at what the cards want you to be aware of and what's coming up for you on Wednesday the 17th. First card is the Moon, the Guide of Swords, so that's kind of like the Knight of Swords, and finally we've got the Ace of Coins. Okay, so let's have a look. The Moon is, in the tarot, it's associated with fear and seeing things from a perspective which makes everything seem very mysterious and things loom and seem very daunting. Imagine you're walking through a forest in the middle of the night and you've got a bit of a moon lighting things up. It's going to seem quite ominous and you'll be aware of every kind of sound. If you go and walk in the same forest at lunchtime, it's going to be a completely different vibe. The moon also represents your intuition and your ability to navigate your life via your feelings. And usually it's a doorway card with this creature coming out of the water, creating real fear, and then a path is laid out, and that path is full of obstacles, and it seems really scary, okay? Here we've got a different scene. We've got these guys in bed together, and we've got this big open window, the big lake. There's lots of isolation. We don't have kind of neighbors looking in, but we've got this big moon here kind of governing the whole scene. And it does seem like this is something that's forbidden and taboo. And you need, you need like 20 acres or 100 acres just to feel safe enough to love the man you love and to do something that feels very intimate and positive, and that's an expression of love, but there's a feeling that it will be met by others' contempt. It will be misunderstood. If you express yourself truly, and if you behave the way you feel is natural, so you fall in love with another man, or if you're female, you fall in love with another woman, and to you that feels right, then that's really an interesting take on this card, because it includes a sense of injustice in there, okay? If you're going on a journey and it's scary and it seems difficult, then fair enough. That's what you have to go through and you're doing it. But here, the fear is that the best thing about me, my ability to love and my ability to connect with another human being, that is, I mean, for a lot of us, that is kind of the epitome of existence, you know, expressing love and getting in touch with the universal energy of love and really thinking along those lines. For a lot of us, that's the most marvelous, magical, sensational thing that we can achieve, because we're really at one with our true nature then, right? So imagine that if your true nature is universally kind of reviled, then the fear isn't about the journey or necessarily other people and what they think. The real fear becomes, well, other people don't like the real me. So what if there's something wrong with the real me? Because how can all these people out there disapprove of what I feel to be beautiful and honest? Maybe they're onto something. And then that's a real fear, because then you're going against yourself and you're starting to be afraid of your true nature. And you're saying, well, if I don't put up a facade and I behave the way I really want to, then that's going to go down very badly. And not only am I going to be in actual danger via other people, even though I don't know if that bothers me or doesn't bother me, but what's really scary is that I now feel like I'm separate from myself, and that there's this element of truth in me which is unacceptable. And when you become scared of that, your true nature, then you're really in trouble, because then the next logical step is to adopt an identity or a personality that isn't authentic, but that causes you fewer problems. So in this case, the guy would say, well, actually, I want to, be able to be with my loved one without having to, rent out a whole country so that we have privacy. This doesn't work for me. It's too scary. It's too difficult. So what I'll do is I'll just go against my nature, and I'll decide to conform and be a heterosexual person, or at least I'll pretend to be heterosexual, and I'll get married and I'll have kids and I'll feel safe and everything is solved. So that's a choice. If you start to go against yourself, you cause this inner friction, and that doesn't go away until you realize that something out there has made you the way you are for a reason. And that is right. And it's not up to you to, we all question it. The things that we don't have choice over, we kind of think, well, do I have a choice or don't I? I'm a free person. I can do what I like. But some of the things are fundamental to our being. And when you start to betray those, you really have stopped on your journey, because the big monster isn't external anymore. It's inside of you. And that's the worst place it could be. So with this card, really accept yourself for who you are. Don't resist your feelings, your thoughts, your beliefs, what is right, what's loving, what's beautiful. And if your ego says, oh, betray yourself, bury this 6 feet under so no one will ever find it, then ask for help, listen to your gut and say, is this really what the universe wants for me, to kind of chop myself up into different bits and to partition myself away to just be a person that functions in the world. And the universe, this is my opinion, so you may disagree with this, but I don't think the universe cares whether you fit into the world. The universe cares that you're unique and loved and loving and just beyond anyone's imagination, because you're not meant to conform, you're meant to add something to the world. And if everyone conformed, then nothing would ever change or grow, and there wouldn't be much originality. So the cards are saying you're meant to be who you are today, whether you like that or not. The Guide of Swords says this acceptance makes you very teachable. It sets you free. It allows you to find new ways of living, to come to terms with your fear, to actually listen to your higher self. Because the interesting thing as well is the moon governs fear and the intuition in the tarot, right? So if you get rid of the moon altogether by being inauthentic, yes, you get rid of the fear, but you also get rid of your gut feeling, your intuition. And that's why it's so important to be friends with yourself and to be honest with yourself, because that guidance can't be received if you're pretending to be someone else. So because you do accept yourself and the fact that your life isn't perfect, it opens things up and it just shows you that you can try different options and that they will turn out differently. So for these two, instead of having to hide away somewhere, they could look at places where it's acceptable to be together, and they could move there and feel a part of. That would be one option, but they couldn't move to, I don't know, let's say Tel Aviv, where it's okay to be in same-sex relationships. If they were busy going back into the closet and denying their love for one another, then they wouldn't be able to move together, because they'd be at each other's throats and they'd be arguing and they'd be trying to conform to some different life. So it's only by facing your fears that you can learn and that you can see new ways of being and new options. And that's really a symbol that you're very teachable and that you'll understand things about your situation that you've never understood before. So it doesn't matter whether you're gay or not. It matters whether there's an area in your life that scares you. And we all have areas in our lives that scare us. Am I going to be alone forever? Will I be happy? Am I going to be a burden on my family? Is there something that I'd like to do, but I can't because I have these responsibilities? So we all have fears in our lives, but instead of sweeping them under the rug, today you face those fears. They show you that you are free to decide and that you can accept certain things about yourself and move forward with all of that baggage. You don't need to be in a place where you're completely free and carefree and footloose. And it just doesn't work like that, because the human condition says, or nothing is ever perfect. We live on planet duality. So you're always going to be afraid of something. There's always going to be something that you can learn. No situation is absolute. So if you feel like you're on the outside looking in, then there will be other outsiders that you can hang out with. Nothing is ever one way or the other. So face your truth and learn how to benefit from that truth. You become this warrior here. He's holding the sword, so he's able to cut away negative situations and really learn. And he's got those wings, which really allow him to look at any aspect of his life that he's afraid of, to face it and to learn from it, to move ahead, and then to graduate to being the King of Swords. The person who's totally in charge of what goes on, and then who's able to make opinions. So let's say you're this gay man, you face your truth. You've always wanted to get into politics, but because of your personal life, you've never felt safe to do that because someone is going to, dig up the dirt, expose you, and then your whole political career would be over. Let's say you are open about that. You're lucky enough that people accept kind of gay politicians in this day and age, and you work your way up in politics and you become the president. And then you're the president and you can actually legislate so that other gay people have an easier time of it, or that, you forbid LGBT discrimination or whatever it is. So by facing your truth, it's not just that you learn and grow, but that you also get yourself in a position where you can then really affect major change on a much larger basis for other people in your situation, for other people who are afraid to live their life purpose, or for other people who find it difficult to be themselves. Finally, we've got the Ace of Coins, and the Ace of Coins is like a bit of magic. It's a blessing from the universe. It means that your physical life is blessed and supported, and that you're going to receive some sort of news when it comes to your finances or your career or where you want to live, about how to improve your health or what to eat or travel. It's some sort of positive news in your practical life. And I mean, we all live here on this planet, so all of our lives are practical. The duality side of things is that, yes, we are human beings, but we're not just the containers, we're also what's inside. And that's, I think, sometimes where the problems come in, because we don't see ourselves as we are physically. And sometimes we do see ourselves as we are physically, and sometimes that can be a benefit or a liability. Ultimately, the blessing here today is that you no longer have to live a certain lifestyle, or you don't have to behave in certain ways, because you're no longer governed by fear. You have the courage to face your fears, to learn from them, and then with the support of the Ace of Pentacles here, you can use that learning and implement it immediately by changing the way you live. So we will no longer hide. Or I am going to get a job that allows me to speak publicly, even though I've been afraid of that. Or I am going to go to the doctor and get a test for, I don't know, this lump that I've been afraid of. I'm going to face the fear. And then once I know if it's benign or not, then I can make a decision. And that will change the way I live. So the solution to everything is facing your fears. If anything, if you're afraid of something or something makes you nervous, that's really a marker that you need to pay attention to that thing. Number-wise, we've got, what's this? 15 and 3 is 18. 18 and 1 is 19, and another 1 is 20. 20 reduces to 2 in numerology, and 2 is a relationship. 1 and 2 is a relationship. So it may even be that love is pops into your life today, because it is all about relationship. That someone comes in and you meet and you immediately feel a sense of connection. You don't need to be this connected, but if you feel like there's chemistry and you're having a good conversation, then pursue that, please. It will teach you something and it will enchant your life. If no one in terms of a human being shows up, but something that you do want to have a relationship with comes in, pursue that. You'll be able to learn from it and do something with. And also look at the things that do scare you and see what you can learn from those fears by having a relationship with them, by engaging with them, and then you can transform your life. You can make different decisions as a result. I'm not going to dress like this anymore because now I realize that something else flatters my body type more, for example. So this is a really personal day where something that you understand in yourself really allows you to behave differently and therefore have a different experience on planet Earth. So that's huge. It doesn't get much bigger than this. Have a wonderful day. If you would like a personal reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to audio reading with me. In my personal readings, I use the tarot, astrology, and numerology. I draw up your astrology chart by taking your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. Once I've got those, I get a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born, and I can really look at anything about you, your life purpose, your ambition, your career potential, your ability to communicate, family life, anything at all. If you have questions about moving or changing your job or getting back to work or retiring or anything at all, then please do get in touch with me for a personal reading, gregoryscott.com. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and share the video online. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.